it's a really nice area. When I go outside, it's like walking paths and parks, and it's so nice out there and pretty. But where are the people? Where's the stuff? I don't know. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Joy and I'm a neonatal nurse practitioner. I recently relocated to Houston, Texas, and I just started this channel. So I told you guys before, I'm going to be covering Houston content, so let's just get into it. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about leaving your hometown. I've coming to Houston. It's been a long time coming. I've always thought I was going to move away. After nursing school, I planned on moving to Florida, and that got stopped. And so I finally made it out, and I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. So let me know if you thinking about leaving your hometown. Something about getting out of that small town, like going to another city, meeting new people. I don't know, y'all. You have to experience it. It's just such a great feeling. I learned about this whenever I traveled nursed to North Carolina, and I've been addicted since. Like, I just need something new, something different. When you are from a small town, you just feel like a big fish in a small pond. And when you're able to get out of that pond and go to like a bigger city. So I'm just going to get right into it. I think it's best for me to start with why I decided to move to Houston. So you guys know that I am a nurse practitioner. I just graduated. So the backstory to that is I worked for a level 4 NICU, and in this NICU, they had a fellowship program where the nurses that worked there could get their clinical hours done and you didn't have to pay money, which this is huge because a lot of nurse practitioner students have to pay thousands of dollars to their preceptors and then try to find clinical spots and stuff like that. Fortunately for me, my NICU did not require that. You could do the fellowship, get all your clinical hours done, and you did not owe your preceptor money. But there was a contract, a 5-year contract that you had to sign in order to do this fellowship program. From January to May, when you're doing your clinical hours, you will receive your base RN salary. So the first time I applied for this fellowship program, I got the fellowship and then I failed my class. So, one thing I can say is that, God takes care of me. God be taking care of me, because I was devastated when I failed that class. And I failed that class, y'all. I failed that class one question on the final. That's all I needed to pass it. And my teacher failed me. And I failed that class, and it was rough. And I already had the fellowship, so I'm dealing with embarrassment, all type of stuff. That's a long story, another story for another day. I'll tell that story another day. But anyway, I had to give the fellowship back, basically. So I felt like I was so sad. I was so defeated about it. But in reality, like when I really, really think about it, I didn't even want that fellowship. I didn't want to be stuck at that NICU for 5 years. Like, I wanted to have growth. I started there as a brand new grad, baby RN. I hadn't been in any other NICU to work except for the time where I took a travel assignment. So I wanted to see more, do more, be more. So anyway, I had to give the job back, and now hindsight, thinking back about it, like, I think it was protection. I always say rejection be protection. When you gotta fight against something so hard to have something, it is not meant for you. I mean, I know it ain't meant for me. Like, everything that's meant for me come with ease and flow. I know, like, I get all these signs from God telling me I'm on the right path and this is where I'm supposed to be. So I already knew that struggle, the fellowship wasn't for me. So basically, I had to get that fellowship back. I had to take off a year and then repeat the class. During that year, I went to travel nurse and, started a business. I did all kind of stuff. So I lived my life. But, it was such a blessing that I had to get that fellowship back, because after that, I repeated the class and I had to do my clinicals again. And guess what? I didn't have to do the 5 years. There was no commitment. I literally just got to do my clinicals for free and leave. No commitment. So, what a year. What a change in a year. I did my clinicals, I got my experience, and then NICUs just started reaching out to me. Like, I hadn't even graduated yet. It was NICUs reaching out to me, asking me to interview, and I'm like, okay, y'all. So I had in my head, I had Atlanta, I had North Carolina, because that's where I had travel nurse to. I had Houston. Houston was my top choice, and then I had Dallas on there, and then DC. So I had been to Atlanta, I had been to Houston. I kind of knew the vibes there. I've been to Houston a couple times. I've always loved it. I've loved the weather, the food, everything, the vibes. My body always just felt happy in Houston. So I knew a little bit about Houston. But anyway, Texas was on it. They was on it, y'all. I had 2 interviews with Texas, one in Austin and one in Houston. And I was flown down here, and I got to meet my medical team, and I got to tour the NICUs, and yeah, I just knew. I was like, it just feels so right. It just felt perfect. There was no anxiety about the choice that I was making. Like, it just felt like it was for me. So that's what I'll be saying. Like, you got to listen to God. You can't be fighting against the signs. I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, after that, I flew back home, and then I was like, okay, I got to get on it, because they wanted me to have a start date for December 1st, which is crazy because, I'm in December, I'm not working. That's a whole nother story as well. But I'm just, I'm just relaxed about it, and I'm basically being a lady of leisure. I'm just relaxing, I'm taking time off work, and I'm just living and just being myself. And so when I got back home, I didn't have no time. I had from October to November to get my stuff rolling, and I had to sell my house. I had to have my car shipped. My daughter, she has her own car, and I have a car. I had to figure that out. I had to quit my job. I had to find an apartment in Houston. I had to do so much in that 1 month time, which was crazy. And I had just got back from Egypt, so like my life was like, it was a lot. So anyway, I ended up finding an apartment locator. She's down here in Houston. She was great. I told her exactly what I wanted. And y'all, I have champagne taste with no job, okay? So, of course, I wanted the floor-to-ceiling windows. Of course, I wanted the resort-style pool. Of course, I wanted like a third living space. I wanted to be able to like go outside my apartment, but not leave my apartment, but still just be able to hang out there. With a teenager, I felt like that was important, because we were leaving a pretty big house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, to go live in an apartment. So it was going to be a change. We needed a little bit of room to move around. I didn't know anything about like the areas, or where to live, what's safe, what's not safe, anything like that. She helped me figure all that out, and I just kind of told her like the vibe that I wanted. Now, let me just tell y'all something. Of course, I wanted to live in the loop. Like, if y'all don't know nothing about Houston, I don't really know stuff about Houston, but I'm learning. So there's like this smaller loop, and then there's another loop around it, and then I live outside of both of the loops. So I'm by nothing. I live in the suburbs. When I go outside, the streets still say Houston, but I'm an hour away from Houston, which is crazy. Like, Texas is massive. So anyway, I'm an hour away from Houston. I'm an hour away from my job. I'm an hour away from everything. It's a really nice area when I go outside. It's like walking paths and parks, and it's so nice out there and pretty, but where are the people? Where's the stuff? I don't know. Anyway, so I decided, I'll go ahead and come down and look at apartments. So she got a list together for me, and I flew down here and looked at apartments. And the first apartment I saw, it was just it was perfect. It was still an hour away from Houston, but it was perfect, like as far as look wise, what I wanted. So, one thing about it is, like, when you own a house, everybody say, buy a house, but they don't really tell you, or maybe they do tell you and I don't listen, but owning a house as a single woman is hard. it's like a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of stuff to do. I had a gutter man, a trash man, a yard man, a plumber man. I had too many men. I wanted one man, a doorman. Okay. So I liked owning my house. I liked being a homeowner, but it was just so much responsibility. And now, like in my apartment, I'm happy. I don't have all the responsibilities. I don't know. Maybe when I get married again, I'll buy a house. But until then, I'm gonna stay in my little luxury apartment. Not this apartment though, but a luxury apartment. Anyway, we come down, we look at this apartment. It's literally perfect. It has everything, the third space living, the nice, it's nice. It's in a nice area. It's everything. It's giving everything that I want. But then I had to go look at other apartments. And we go look at these other apartments and they just not adding up. They are giving what I asked her to give. Don't get me wrong. Like my realtor, she was on it. All the apartments were exactly how I described I wanted to live. That's what she gave me. But, it was little things. It was like stuff like, I don't want to live in a townhome. And one of the places was a townhome. I told her I was open to looking at it, but I didn't like the townhome way. And then the other one, the school district, was just like a no for me. So my main priority was to make sure that we were in a good school district. I mean, since I was moving my daughter in the middle of junior year, I wanted to make sure that it was still a good situation for her. So the last apartment we looked at is the apartment that I'm in now. And you guys, you can see it's a pretty nice apartment. I do like it. I like the inside part of my apartment, but it's like stuff I can't stand. And, I don't know. It's stuff I can't stand, especially like coming from a house and then moving into an apartment. It's a big adjustment. And like today I had to just write a review about it and say, okay, that's it. I'm not going to talk bad about this apartment anymore because I signed a 15-month lease. So I got to just get used to it and, move on. So anyway, I chose this apartment. Something y'all need to know when y'all are moving down here is the fact that these apartments, the rates change all the time. So if you're not actually ready to move, I wouldn't come down here just looking at apartments because you don't really know what you're going to pay. Like the price from November, what I would be paying in November versus what I would pay if I moved in December 1st was a $200 difference. Like what? So literally between one day and the next. I mean, it was 1 month and the next, but still it was one day and the next. So if you're not actually ready to put that deposit down and move down here, I would say just wait till you're closer to move time to figure out what apartment you want. Because the next thing you need to do, once you know that you're going to move and then you're looking at apartments online, you need to make a budget. Like make a budget and see if the money you make can sustain the lifestyle that you want. The apartment that I wanted, the floor to ceiling windows and the resort style pool and the doorman, baby, I could pay the rent, but then that's all I'm gonna have. And you don't want to be house broke. Like you don't want to get down here and yeah, you got this nice apartment, but you can't even go outside. Like you literally just got to stay in your apartment all the time. There is nothing cheap about Houston. Every time you go outside, you spending money. Just trying to go to a restaurant, you gonna spend all type of money. So do not get a place that's out of your means because you will have to stay in the house. With the apartment, just think about the extra little fees that's going to come along with your rent just to make sure that you can afford your rent plus those extra fees. I have valet trash, so I have to pay for that. And then your utilities, you're going to have to pay for that, your Wi-Fi, just little things. In order for me to get a parking space, it would be an extra $50 on top of my rent. So I'm not paying for that. But if you guys want to have a parking space that's like close to your apartment, they may charge for that. So just think about those little things and add that into the cost of what it'll cost for you to live there. I moved into my apartment November 1st, and so that's when my rent started. But if you move into your apartment like the middle of the month, then you have to pay the prorated amount of your rent. So if your rent is $2,000 and you move in and it's halfway through the month, you could also owe the $1,000 for the month that you were staying there. So try to move in like as close to the beginning of the month. That's what I did. So then I just had to worry about November because I moved in November. First, you'll figure out why you need to move down here, because if you don't have like a solid why, you will change your mind and want to go back home. When you first move to Texas, or when you first move anywhere, you have to spend a lot of time with yourself. And I was really not a person who did things just me, like just by myself, until I went and travel nurse and figured out how to do that. But a lot of people out here don't know how to just spend time, with themselves. And if you move to another state, you're going to be by yourself a lot. You're going to have to go out and like meet people and network, but you're going to do that alone. So you need to know the why you want to move, because that will be the thing that you get to come back to when you think you're ready to go back home. I'm definitely not ready to go back home. I don't think I'll never be ready to go back home. But that is something to think about. Like, that's why people get that homesick and then just leave and go back, because they forget the why. Why did they actually move here? Okay, so you have the why. You made your budget. You find a place in a safe neighborhood. You have to research, make sure you're in a safe neighborhood, make sure you're in the area that you want to be in. If I was in my 20s, I would definitely be trying to be in one of them loops. But since I'm a millennial with a teenager, I got to be on the outskirts in the suburbs. So, really just think about your personality and what your need is. I feel like it would just be easier to make connections and meet people if you are like in the midst of things happening. All right. So then after that, after I picked my apartment, I flew back home and I only had 30 days. So I had to get a moving company. I had to quit my job. I had to sell my house. I had to figure out how to ship my cars. I had like a long list of things and I just wrote everything down. So with my moving company, I had a 3-bedroom house, 2-bath. I had a pretty big size house and I had to move all of that down here because I didn't want to just start all the way over. I did sell a lot of my stuff. So if you can, try to sell a lot of your stuff that you probably don't want anymore. I sold a lot of my stuff on Facebook Marketplace and I got really good money for it, which really helped with my move. So try to sell your stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and other places, I don't know. So yeah, I started selling my stuff pretty much immediately. And then I met with my realtor and we came up with a plan for selling my house. My house sold pretty fast. It sold like the second day it was on the market, which is great. But that was a horror story within itself. So if anybody's trying to sell their house, I can make a video about it, but it was a lot. I mean, I sold my house 3 times, y'all. 3 times. I'm still upset. And then I started selling my stuff. I started selling my stuff pretty fast and just packing slowly. So I called a moving company. Y'all would know who it is if I said it, but I ain't gonna say it. But they are expensive. They are so expensive. So I called them and I was like, are y'all serious? Like, who got that type of money? Who can do that? My job did give me a relocation amount, but it still did not cover nowhere near what it was going to cost me to move down here. Okay, so then I was like kind of stressed about that, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk to God about it. I talked to God about it. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day, literally the next morning, and I was like, I know who I'm going to call. Because I had like seen a glimpse of this company on Facebook, but I just like scrolled past it. It wasn't anything that I really interacted with. But then I just woke up. I'm like, I don't know, something. I feel good vibes. I don't know. I'm like, I just feel good vibes. So I'm going to just call them. I called them. I had a consultation with them. Y'all, this company used FaceTime. So I just walked around my house and he screenshotted everything in my house that I said was coming and then gave me a price that day. I'm going to link them below because they made moving so easy. Like, I didn't have no stress. I don't know. I was just really blessed for that because God took care of it. God be providing. He be providing for me. So I'll link them below. But yeah, I think it's just a St. Louis based company though. I don't know. You had to like call them and check with them. And the price was half the price. And it was just good. Like, they bought me all my boxes, so I didn't have to go get boxes. But I did look, and if you need boxes, you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get boxes. And then on Amazon's website, there's like, they have these moving bags. They're pretty cheap and sturdy. You can put all like your stuff in there too if you don't want to buy boxes. But this company, they bought me all my boxes. They bought me the wardrobe boxes. I could just hang my stuff up. So that was good. Everything was easy. They even offered a service where they would pack stuff for you, but I couldn't afford that. So I just packed my own stuff. But if you got it, you got it. So anyway, I'm going to make the list of how much everything cost and then put it up here so that you guys can like screenshot it. But I'll have like a final total of how much everything costs for me to move here. We set the date. My move-in date was November 1st, and they set the date for October 30th. And if you know me, you know Halloween is my favorite holiday. I literally have parties for Halloween, and I was kind of sad about it. But then I was like, girl, you moving to Houston, whatever. You don't get a Halloween party every year, but I love Halloween, y'all. But I moved to Houston on my favorite holiday. So anyway, they set that date, and they came, they showed up. They wrapped my couch. They like did everything. They wrapped all my furniture, loaded it all up, headed out, and then I put, here's a trick too. I put air tags in my stuff so I could track the truck, and I was able to I was on the road because I was driving my own car, but I was able to track and see if they were ahead of me or behind me, or what was going on with my stuff. But the company was really great. I mean, the men that moved me, they text me, like told me, okay, we're stopping in this city for tonight to get some rest or whatever. They were like very good with communication, but I'm crazy. So I needed to like be able to track my stuff. So put an air tag in your moving stuff, like you could track the truck. Yeah, so that was my process with that. It took 2 days to get down here. They stopped at a hotel that was like 10 minutes from my apartment, and then slept overnight, and then showed up early in the morning to move my stuff in. They moved everything in. I have an elevator, so they were able to use the elevator. They moved everything in and set everything up for me. I drove my car down here because I had to ship my daughter's car. So I didn't want to drive her car. I mean, no shade, but once you get like a luxury car, you don't want to go back. So I had to drive my own car here. And I shipped her car, and I had to find a company that does that. I'm not going to link them because I didn't particularly like them. They had gave me a price of $4.99 initially, and then once it was moving day, like once they were supposed to ship my car, they tried to up the price to $800. And I was like, I don't have a job. I can't pay all that. Leave the car where it is, and then I'll figure it out later. Then they like tried to haggle me. They ended up coming down some to $600. And then the driver didn't even show up that day. He literally just did not show up. So then the brokerage had to like find another driver. That driver was great. He did get my car there same day. He picked it up that morning. He dropped it off that night. He was on it. So from St. Louis to Houston, where I stay now, it is 12 hours. So he drove it, and he got the car there, same day. I don't really like how they changed the price, so I'm not tagging them. I would just say, if you are going to get your car shipped, make sure that you understand that the price they are giving you is just an estimate. It's not like the official price, and that they can and will go up on the price that they quoted you. It's a brokerage company 9 times out of 10, and they are dealing with the drivers and you. Like, they're connecting you guys together. So keep that in mind. You're not actually talking to the driver unless you find a company where you're actually talking to the driver, but I couldn't find that. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. On the moving day, me and my daughter, we got in my car, we drove down here. I was listening to my podcast, listening to my music. I had my Red Bull, my coffee. She was asleep, and then I let her drive for like 2 hours while I took a little nap. And we drove all the way down here, and we stayed about 30 minutes away from my apartment. So then when we woke up the next day, we were able to just drive here and meet the truck here, which was nice. So that's kind of how we did that. It was very easy drive, very, very simple, easy, coming from Missouri to Houston. So, I mean, obviously, if I let my daughter drive, because she scares the crap out of me when she drives, but I be feeling like I let her drive by all these. So, we got here safe. It was good. And, that's pretty much how the road trip went. It was easy. Day of, we get here to my apartment. The people move us in, and everything is nice. I like my apartment. I'm like, good vibes and happy. One thing you should know is like the weather is so nice here. Like Texas is like bipolar. Like sometimes it's all misty and gloomy and it be raining and stuff, but it is not Missouri. Like Missouri, it is not that. The weather is nice. I feel like depression just lifted up out my body, and it's probably never going to come back now that I live here. The sun is out. Even when you think it's cold, like, okay, it's December, it's got to be cold. I walk outside on my patio, it's all nice and warm. I'm like, what is this? This is so nice. Like, people have been living this life. People have been living this life. If you are from the Midwest and you don't like snow and you don't like cold, get to the South, because ain't no way. Like, I hate the cold. I hate snow. I don't like none of that. So this is perfect for me. I feel like I'm just always waking up early. The birds is chirping. I mean, call me Cinderella. Like, the animals is speaking to me. Life is great here so far. Life is great. I love the weather. I mean, I know stuff you need to be prepared for is hurricane season. Obviously, the rain, obviously, and the traffic. Let's talk about the traffic. So everybody talk about the traffic, how bad the traffic is. When my boss picked me up from the airport, the first thing she said was download the Waze app because everybody speeds in Texas and you need to know where the police are. And I tell you, everybody speeds in Texas. Everybody speeds in Texas. I mean, the streets is like 50 miles per hour and you just like on a residential street. It's crazy. Like, I drive a fast car, but I don't know. I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. Everybody drives fast, and you on the highway. You look up. You like, I'm going 90. They got to be going at least 120. Just so you know, if you're not ready for that, you need to stay all the way over, because nobody's gonna give you grace and mercy. But yeah, the traffic is, is, from what I've heard, is pretty bad. Now, what I will say is, I haven't really experienced it, y'all. It sounds so bad, but I haven't really experienced it. I'm kind of scared because where's it at? I don't know, but probably because I don't live in them little loops. But they say the traffic is bad and everything is an hour away. I do know that. And I come from a place where I can get to stuff like, pretty easily, like 15-20 minute drive. But when I tell you everything is an hour away from wherever it is that you're trying to go, so you're going to be driving and you're going to be driving in that traffic. And then the streets, there are tolls everywhere. You got to pay. You got to pay to drive. I'm from St. Louis. We don't have tolls. I know other cities have tolls and you guys are used to that, but it was a shock to me when I had to get on the highway for the first time to go somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, cause when you come down here, you get a rental car, they have the little easy plates on your rental car. So you don't have to worry about tolls. They just send you the bill later when you go home. It's not, you don't really think about it. But I was in my own car. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have these license plates. Like, can I drive on the highway? Like, what's going to happen? The police going to stop me? Like, what do I need to know? So keep that in mind. They have tolls. You can drive on the highway and they will send you the bill in the mail. I haven't gotten a bill yet, but I'm sure I got some coming because I've been driving on that highway. But it costs money to go places. And a 10-minute drive with tolls can turn into an hour drive easily without them tolls. So don't even try to avoid them. I don't know, like, just budget because you're going to have to pay to drive. I'm laughing because it's funny to me that I guess I just I ain't really realize that them tolls was a thing. Tolls are crazy. Like, you really got to pay to drive. Saying that to say, everything is an hour away and you got to pay tolls to drive. So make sure whatever job you pick is close to your apartment. Don't be like me. I'm an hour away from my place. So I'm going to be on them streets, y'all, stressed out, driving on them streets. But I went with this apartment because my daughter wanted this apartment. She wanted to go to that school, and she's in high school. I didn't want no war. I just couldn't fight it. So I had just, compromise a little bit just so that everybody can have peace. So don't be like me. Get you a place that's like, 15 minutes, 20 minutes from your job at the most. And then make sure when you come down here, you have a job. So let's talk about it. So y'all know I came down here for a job, and I have a job. I do have a job. My start date just got pushed back, but I wasn't prepared for that. I was not prepared to just be broke for 3 months. A lot of stuff happened which caused me to get my start date pushed back, and I'm not upset about it because, who just get to take 3 months off work and still pay their bills and still be okay? Not a lot of people, so I'm not upset about it. I know, God be taking care of me, but the job market is crazy. I feel like they don't really pay you a lot of money, and it's hard to find a job. Even though I have my nursing license, I was trying to look for a job that was just like remote because I didn't want to literally start a new career knowing that I'm going to actually be starting a new career in February. So I was trying to find a job. I applied for so many jobs, y'all. It's rough. Obviously I can go just pick up some shifts at a hospital. That's the perk of being a nurse. But I wanted to try something new, something different. I'm in a new city. I don't want to just go work in a NICU as a NICU nurse because that's all I've ever done. Make sure when you come down here, you have a job, you have a start date, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it for your apartment. When I came down here for my apartment, I had to have my check stubs from my job that was in St. Louis. I had to have that. And I also had to have my offer letter for my new job that I would be starting once I got here. So keep that in mind. Like, your apartment is going to want to have proof that you have income. So even if you want to quit your job back at home, do not quit your job until after you qualified for your apartment down here. Then you can put your 2 weeks in. I put my 2 weeks in, said bye, and got up out of there. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to y'all about is car insurance. My car insurance in St. Louis was $350. When they quoted me in St. Louis, that car insurance went up to $800 for my 2 cars. What? The lady was like, you're moving to Texas and there's so many accidents and the insurance is just way higher, it's hurricanes and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, who is paying? Who can pay for that? I cannot. So when I moved down here, I still had my insurance that I had in Missouri. I had just paid it up for the month of November with plans to get new car insurance in December. So that's what I did. I moved down here. I figured out, different car insurance companies. And then I called around, got quotes. And now my insurance is $530, which is still a lot of money every month. And it's still a lot more than what I was paying in St. Louis. So I would say that's something else to keep in mind. Your car insurance is going to go through the roof if you have full coverage, or, if you had a nice car like me, it's going to go through the roof. So be prepared for that. That's going to be an extra fee that you do not want to pay, but you're going to have to pay because it's like 1,000 accidents here. I don't know what's going on in Houston. People can't drive. People are crazy. So I don't know. The insurance is very expensive. So just be prepared that you're going to be paying a lot of money for that car insurance. So then after that, I was trying to figure out, how do I register my car? How do I get a Texas driver's license? I'm on there, I'm Googling it, saying in order to register your car, you got to have a Texas driver's license. Then I go to see about the Texas driver's license. And in order to have a Texas driver's license, you got to have a registered vehicle. I was confused. I'm like, what y'all? Why is it hard? So anyway, I ended up emailing them and asking them, like, what comes first, second, and third? What do I need to do? So apparently my daughter gets to keep her driver's license because she already had a driver's license, so she doesn't have to go to driver's school. It's driver schools on every corner down here. So yeah, I tried to go get my car registered, and apparently you need to have an appointment. So I had to make an appointment. There's this form that you have to fill out, and then you have to go to the courthouse. Well, it's not the courthouse, it's the tax house, but they have the courthouse where I'm at. They have the courthouse connected to this tax place, and you have to go there to pay to get your car registered. And then after that, that's when you can go and get your Texas driver's license. So I'll keep you guys updated. I've already made my appointment. But yeah, it's a lot you have to think about when it comes to relocating, just be mindful that you have to spend time with yourself. You have to really like yourself, because you are going to be alone here. I don't have friends here. I don't have family here. I don't know a soul. You're going to have to get outside. You're going to have to meet people. People come up to me. They talk to me. I'm never by myself. They want to hang out with me. If you are an introvert person and you don't really like hanging out with people, just get out of your comfort zone. Don't do the same stuff that you were doing in your old city. You know, it's time to grow as a person and just meet new people, have fun, be careful. I know that they say not everybody is nice in Houston, but everybody that I've met have been really nice and friendly to me. Hopefully you have the same experience. So like I said before, I'm going to continue to make these update videos like every couple of months, just to let you guys know how things are going. When I experience new things and when I learn new stuff, I'll share them with you guys. If you want to move to Houston, don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Monday, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you watch me to the end, I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget that I do have an Etsy store. I will link it below. This is where I got my cup from. But yeah, if you guys want to check that store out, it'll be linked below. Can't wait to see you guys next week.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, pretty.